Hi guys, so in the last video we looked at this Reely.css file, kind of checking out what it does. So now we're going to put it to use, creating a custom module. So let's just go and play with that. So what we want to do is go into our module folder, create a new file. We're going to create a module, and then I just set these to blog and page. I mean, email has its own set of rules, but these are pretty much similar. Not too many cases where you shouldn't have it on a blog if it's for a page or vice versa, except for in the case of your blog content module, um, which you can build custom, but not important. Okay, so I'm just going to call this ZP, and then we're going to build, what kind of module should we build? Let's do, we can do Slick.js slider, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll call this ZP slider. Okay. I'm going to change this because I like to use 2 words. There we go. Okay. Hey, I'm not going to tell you again. Okay. All right. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm building out a custom module is frame it out in HTML. That's not right. Okay. So this is going to be like a body module. So we can just use a div tag. And I'm going to set the class of slick slider. There we go. Okay. You know what? Let's do this just for like a show here. The BG3, I believe, and then do class page center, oh, lowercase c l g large. Okay, so the page center controls are essentially the page center controls that you're probably familiar with. However, yeah, right here. Okay, a little different, I guess. So underscore page center, not dash, because dash is the one you normally use, and so I didn't want it to interfere. Dot large, they have the media queries set to shrink them down at their different levels, as you can see. Again, I mean, this is just kind of hacky, so you can feel free to play with it. You can write these out on your own. It's just I'm using this the CSS files to save time. So okay, now what we need to do is we actually need to grab a Slick.js download. I probably have one, but I'm going to grab. Oh, that'll work. Ken Wheeler. Actually, yeah, this is good. I want to go to the website. So let's get it now. And then download. Sure, desktop's fine. And then we're going to show that in the folder. My desktop is pretty cluttered. And then extract files. Go Slick. Right there. That's it. Okay, so I am going to do this in code. And grab the Slick.js file. Put a new file in the JavaScript folder. We're just going to call it Slick. And then we're going to paste that in. We're going to publish it. And now we have Slick.js. But we need a couple of CSS files from the folder. We could have put in a vendor folder, and you can if you want to. That would probably be a little cleaner, even for Reely or whatever. It's all of your custom CSS is going to go into your modules, so technically that CSS folder is your vendor folder, but it's completely up to your workflow how you want to do it. All right, we're going to grab the slick.css file, create a new file in the CSS new file in the CSS folder, style sheet, and just call that slick.css. Paste that in. Okay. One more. There is a custom slick.css file. Oh, why am I looking in here? We need to be here. Slick theme. There we go. Okay. So we're going to grab that. CSS. Okay, paste that in. Okay, now there's one more thing we need to do. So I'm going to do a Control F on both of these CSS files, and I am looking for font face. Font face, but it's not there, so it's going to be in the main slick.css file. Font face. Man, am I spelling that wrong? It's always up at the top in the theme folder, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we are looking for font dash face, control font dash face right there. Boom, that would have found it. Okay, and I like to reformat this, so you'll just have to bear with me for a second. It drives me a little batty the way they do this. Okay, so as you can see, we have these slick.eot, WFF, TTF, and SVG files. Some of these have, I guess you would call them, well, I don't even know, but they're pound signs with some kind of information on the end of them. That looks like a query with a pound sign with some information on the end of them. I don't know what those do, but they belong in a font face. Every font that I've ever set up locally, that's how we do it. Well, you need all of those file types. With Slick.js, you're actually going to find those file types outside, maybe inside that folder, inside the Slick folder. Under fonts, boom, there they are, all four of them. In order to get those to work in your Hubspot account, you need to go to your file manager, and I control clicked on that if you want to know how to open a new tab. Okay, so I actually might have these. Let's see. I do not. Okay. So let me just go ahead and create a fonts folder. But actually, what I like to do now in my file manager is actually create project folders, which probably, see, as you can see, a lot of people probably do that, but I'm just catching on to the trend. So inside the project folder, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call that fonts. And then inside the fonts folder, just in case, we're going to actually just put a Slick folder, because we might actually, my favorite font for my business is Babase. I don't know if that's how you say it, but Babase New. You can't get that as a WebKit. You actually have to create your own. So I don't know. Maybe I'll install it later. Okay, so now we're going to grab those files, the font files, and we're going to drag. Work with me, computer. I want to select all of them, but it's not letting me. Shift click. Beat you. All right, so we're going to drop those in. Boom. All right, so now we've got four files. We need to change the file paths to these files in the CSS style sheet. So what we can actually do, and I wish I could just like select part of the URL. So what I do is I just open a new tab and paste it in there, and then I want to grab everything before the file name and just copy that. Go back to the design manager, and then everything before the file name I want to select and paste over. But I can actually also do this. Control F is already up, so then I don't know how to get the replace to come up all the way, but as you can see, I was able to hit Control F and it replaced the backslash font. That's what we're trying to replace there. So then I'm going to paste in what we're replacing. I don't know if I want to replace all, so let's just go down the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. That's probably no. There aren't any other instances in this file, but I don't, just to be safe. All right, so close this. Not sure how to exit that, or whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, so we did that. So that's all good to go. So now we can fully use Slick. It's all plugged in and ready to roll. Now the only thing left to do is attach some stuff to our module, our custom module. Okay, so over here on the sidebar, this is really useful stuff, but I hate how messy it is because you don't know where to look. What I like to do is, so if you ever use this in an HTML template, this is a good code to have, or maybe for other reasons, a snippet. You don't need this off the bat. Field translations, again, this is great if you have a website with translations. Not many do, so we don't need that. And then tags. I've never used this, but I probably should. I don't sell my modules, so I don't know. Don't need that. Uh, Link files. So here's where we actually want to put in. We're going to use, as you can see, I do use my little framework a lot. It's probably an older version, and that's the first version of it. Funny name there. Um, we want to use the one that's in our Z project folder, which for you should be the only one. And then if I click it, there it goes. All right. Then we want to attach the Slick CMS or CMS. Click Slick CSS. Ooh, losing it. Okay, there, and then we want to get the Slick theme, and then we want to look at the order of these from. Okay, what I believe is it should go Slick. Slick goes above Slick theme. Slick theme should go above Reely because Reely should overwrite everything. That way, if you need to make any of any global rules to apply to all Slick instances that you use, then you have that control without being overwritten by the original framework for Slick, if that makes sense. Anyways, not I was about to say not super important. Might be important. I'd definitely check it out. I'd look into it. Okay, so and then in the JavaScript files, we're going to go ahead and add the Slick.js. Okay, so now the module is completely set up to use Slick as well as Reely. So all of these, all of these. So there are 3 Reely.css classes, control classes here, bg-3, page center, and then large. And then there is one scope class, scoper class. I don't know. Uh, Take your pick. Either way, we're going to be using that to scope off of for any local custom JavaScript because you have to understand that with a module, you can actually uh, use multiple instances of it on a template. So you don't want it to have a global scope because, for instance, if you say click this button to change this picture and you click this button with multiple instances of that module and it changes the picture on both modules, that's not right. You want it to be work locally, completely dependent on itself. Or there's a good word for this, and I'm sure you could Google it, but you know what I'm talking about. We just want to scope. We want to have a scoping class, and that is what this is. Okay, so in here we are going to set up a, let's see, how long are we? We're at 12 minutes. Okay, let's do this. Let's do one more thing for the setup process. We are going to go to, let's think here. I used to know a good one. Yeah, there we go, Pixabay. Sorry, I had to kickstart the brain there. There, whoa, that's cool. That's nice. Let's see what kind of space pictures they have. Ooh, good. I like it. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to grab a couple of these. So I'm going to control click these open. If you've ever seen somebody that just accumulates browser tabs, this is how they do it. I'm giving you the insider information on that. All right, we're going to download these. We actually just need small versions of them. I was going to I might still do image optimization, but it's not really important for this tutorial. So if we grab small versions of it, I think we can just work with that. Do I have a local project folder? I don't. So oops, let's do this. My poor computer is going to leave me one day. Okay, so I'm actually just going to save these so that they appear down here in my browser. So we can get this going here. Small, download folder. Oh, it's already there. Save. There we go. Let's get 2 more. Where are we at? Oh, I see what I did. I didn't go with the extra tab there and then suffered for it. All right. Oh, sure. My fingers picked this one, but I like it. Download, save. Then we're going to go back. And one more. Ooh, love the green. That's it right there. by the way, I don't know exactly how to. I don't. You can see the author right here. These images. Obviously, these are awesome images, and there's a ton of them on this website. So there's your credit. We're going to take these and we're going to move them into the file manager here. I'm going to move outside of. I'm going to move into the Z projects folder here in the file manager. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call this Slick Images, I guess. I don't know. There's probably a more professional business way to organize these as far as content's concerned, but I don't have enough content to work with here. So we're just going to, yeah, this will work. Drop these in here. See, this is what I was going for. You thought I was crazy, and it worked. Boom. All right, so now we have all 4 images available. The names are bad, but it's okay because HubSpot usually just lets you click. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, you like just select them from the list of images, so you don't have to worry too much about the names. Okay. What are we at? 16 minutes. All right. So now we have a custom module that's completely set up to use Slick.css.js, Reely.css, and we have the beginnings of a module here in HTML, a couple little div tags. So, and we have pictures. That's good. So in the next video, we're going to put those pictures into a Slick.js carousel. Play around with some of the controls there. That way, I don't know, you get familiar with how Slick works in HubSpot when it's set up correctly, which it is. And then I think in the video after that, the last video for Slick, we might play around with the fields and actually make it an editable module with some options. Yeah. So, yeah, see you in the next video.